Ah, fuck, I just found out that Salt and Sacrifice went and got released yesterday. There's like a million and one things I want to play on this goddamn channel. I'm still like only a tenth of the way through this goddamn game, which is probably going to be about 8 years long. That's just a guess, I don't know how long this actually is, but whatever. The point is, I don't know when I'm going to have time to fit in everything I want to play, and now a potential game of the year has just gone and fallen in my lap. I mean, for fuck's sake. Why does the gaming industry have to be so fucking good? I don't say that very often. I usually moan and bitch about the gaming industry as much as I possibly can, but god damn, there's been some fucking gems releasing recently. Anyway, welcome back on that fucking sour-ass note. Let's go into this tent and see what these lads are up to.
The tent is just tarpaulin fabric covering a pile of stuff. The flap is open. Inside, 3 young men, all in forward-looking apparel, reminiscent of the sticker on the padlock, are listening to some new form of music. It's like nothing you've ever heard. One of them looks at you.
Are we not going to get to see these lads? Are they just going to be a tent?
Come on, get in and close the flap behind you. The warm stuff's getting out.
I like this lad. Sure, I'll squeeze in.
Sorry, we barely have room for one.
Aw, well, that's a bit racist, isn't it?
You go ahead. I'm too old for this.
I like how they banished her outside because they didn't have room for it, but they're letting me come in. a little bit sexist, a little bit whatever.
I'm actually not, he thinks. I just dislike delinquents.
I love delinquents.
I'm sure you will feel right at home. I'll keep watch.
He gestures for you to squeeze in. Ooh. Did anyone else just see our erstwhile protagonist just get launched through space, or did I just hallucinate that? Smells like sweaty laundry detergent, plus a trace of ether. There's definitely room for another person in here. It's not that small. These are some banging ass tunes, though. Pile of nasal sprays, brand name Nosafed. Don't mind if I do. Wild, I want to. What did that say? I missed that one. Canisters filled with what appears to be water. The label says distilled. Yeah, definitely water then. A speaker, the big kind they use for live music. And this guy's just like pressing his ear against it. He'll be deaf by the time he's 30. It's the sort of shit you only start saying once you get over 30.
A young man with peroxide blonde hair holds up a Harman Walshy tape player, nodding along to the music. He looks at you with a knowing smile and says
he appears to be a bald elf in his picture. What's going on there? That's not how he looks here.
as though you're supposed to be sharing some tremendous evangelical secrets.
Hardcore!
Is it?
It's hardcore!
You're just going to keep saying it's hardcore, aren't you?
Skibbity, skibberdanger. I am the rearranger.
God, this guy's a fucking dweeb.
Could there have been a right way out of this garden of forking paths, you think?
I don't think so.
You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush. He puts the toothbrush down and extends his hand in greeting.
Hello, I'm Andre. It's a pleasure to meet you.
There is definitely something futuristic about his hair, aggressively so. You get the sense that this is what the future will look like. Imbecilic, yes, should the future ever come, it will look deeply imbecilic, like this guy.
I shake the guy's hand. Hell yeah.
His grip is strong, sweaty, and warm. He's trying to project and inspire confidence.
This is my posse, Noid.
The young man with earrings looks at you suspiciously.
He's got like a rib cage on the outside of his clothes, and that's very upsetting.
An egghead. Egg!
He yells. The tape player high above his head continues to blast strange music.
Together with a Settle Burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music venue organisers.
Wait, how many music venues have you organised?
We have many in the pipeline, officer.
That means they haven't set up a single one yet.
So why are you here?
You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish a new venue in.
Also for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jamrock, we've had rotten luck with the real estate part.
Place is a shithole.
I apologise for my friend Noid's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues.
There's no need, the place is pretty bad.
Which brings me to the problem of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed the derelict hive of narcomania on the coast.
The church he's talking about, but I guess we're going to have to ask.
I'm talking about the church, and I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge can become a magnet for all sorts of dopeheads and burnouts if left unattended.
Dopeheads! Burnouts!
He angrily spits on a screw and then starts cleaning it. So are these like straight edge punks? Is that what we're looking at? I mean, obviously they're not listening to punk music. They're more about like the... my knowledge of electronic styles is so fucking limited. Hard style of some sort, I think. I don't know. But... yeah, they've got big straight edge energy if they're getting angry about dope heads and burnouts.
Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs in Jamrock. Nah, strike that, in Revachol.
Strike that! The word!
And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts hold up in there are the worst kind.
Does one of them have a sniper rifle?
He leans back a little, watching you with a steady, serious gaze, letting you imagine just how bad those dopeheads and burnouts really are. Good. This calls for an opinion. You're an expert in those.
What kind?
The spooky kind.
Spookiness is not a matter for police investigation.
You know, officer, you really should judge that for yourself. But keep in mind, their spookiness is the kind that keeps us from restoring this church into a community centre and a place of spiritual refuge. Also, they don't eat or clean the building. Shit's gonna collapse. People just want to spin tapes without them spooking it up. Place has bad signs. No one can dance like that.
Thank you, Egghead. So you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter. Getting them out. Whatever spooky stuff they're doing, I'm sure it's not what the Ecclesiastes meant their property for.
I'll make up my mind later. I have questions for you first.
All right, man.
He claps his hands enthusiastically. Did you put that padlock on the door?
Yes. I asked Noid to install a measure against more drifters wandering in. It's a temporary fix, just something to contain the situation.
I had to do it in a hurry. Not my best work, but it should hold for a while.
How long have those people been locked in there?
Not long. Like a week, maybe?
How can you be sure they haven't starved to death?
I'm super sure they're alive. I mean, come on. I'm at least 90%, maybe 85% sure they're still alive.
Somewhere in the ruinous past that led you here, there was something called exams. You may have learned the term involuntary manslaughter there.
Andre, do you know what involuntary manslaughter means?
Yes, I do. I listen to Channel 8 all the time. I know about crime stuff, and I assure you, officer, this is not what's happening here. I'm at least 80% sure they're alive. I mean, come on. Most people aren't ever that alive in their entire lives.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. What does anything mean, really?
Oh, yeah.
He looks at his friend with an expression of profound understanding. Yeah, I catch your drift.
I knew you'd get it. You're one smart cop.
I get by. Now, where was I with that padlock?
He nods attentively, ready to answer the questions of one smart cop.
I need the key.
Of course. Noid, give the officer the key.
Only if he promises to look into the spookers in the church.
He looks at you gravely.
Officer, I apologise. Noid doesn't always understand the joy of giving for the sake of giving. I think it may have something to do with his childhood.
Damn it. Take it. Don't you just want to see what's in there?
Okay, just give me the key.
Brilliant! Noid, the key!
I mean, it's hard not to look into who's in the church if I'm opening the church, right?
All right.
The speed freak dips into his belt pack and produces a small yellow key. He then makes a sudden, cool, infused move, tossing it in your general direction. Time to be the cool cop.
You sense the trajectory of the little piece of metal and plastic. The object makes a small ringing sound as it approaches. Just the tiniest chime to your left.
Catch it.
Ka-ching! The key hits your palm. The speed freaks nod to you approvingly.
Bask in the glory.
The young man with ribcage-shaped suspenders looks at you, standing there, with a goofy grin on your face. Feels nice. It would feel a whole lot less nice had you dropped them, or worse, got hit in the eye with them. Good thing that didn't happen.
Right, other questions.
Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. Let's do it.
Who exactly are these people inside the church?
Truth is, I don't really know. None of us do. I don't even know how many there are. All we've seen are glimpses.
Better safe than sorry. Anything more you can tell me?
Yes, there's also the machinery.
This machinery is of the deeply mystical variety.
When I first scouted the place, back in February, it was abandoned, empty. Took some time getting the crew together. So about 2 weeks ago, we came here hoping to set the stuff up. Suddenly, there are all these strange machines lying around in there.
One of them has wires running into bowls of water. Wires into water. Never seen anything like it.
I wish I had enough technological knowledge to know what the hell that would be.
Andre, tell him about the feeling.
Oh, and it felt like there was something in there with us, watching us from the dark.
No, the other one.
Which other one? I'm not as in tune with my emotions as you are, Egg.
Felt like silence. Awful silence.
You haven't physically seen anyone?
Not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church. A couple of times. And we felt someone or something eyeing us inside. But that's kinda it.
Why were they so sure that there were like drifters and burnouts and people they'd locked inside who weren't starving to death then? Oh, there's actually a question for that. So how can you be so sure they're burnouts and dopeheads if you've not seen them?
Well, honestly, I can't. But I am.
This is a below feeble attempt at avoidance. Basically, he is attempting to weaponize idiocy.
Well, you can't, but you do. I should add weaponized idiocy to my own repertoire.
Hey now, I'm 70% sure they're substance abusers. Don't let all that technology fool you. Where do you think the drugs come from?
So can you tell me any more about this machinery?
You should talk to Noid about that. I just got a distinct burnout and dopehead sign from them. Probably jacked up to some snuff station too. Probably, very likely.
So what about this thing that was watching you?
Like you aren't alone, you know?
It wasn't quite human, if you know what I mean.
Not human, as in a ghost. Do you know what he means?
It was this dark shape climbing upside down along the ceiling, like some kind of crab man.
A crab man.
Yeah, you know, the way it was climbing up and around the ceiling, like a crab.
It was stalking a cell, exhibiting ambush behaviour.
Odd. Crabs are usually marine creatures, and not known for climbing walls.
Are you sure there was a crab man?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't personally see it. Estelle was alone that time, but I believe her. If she comes out running and says there's a crab in there, there's a crab in there.
So he hasn't even been in there lately. Is he afraid?
You should ask her about it, but be nice. Don't tell her you don't believe in the crab.
Alright, let's talk about something else.
Sure. What?
No, I think I'm good,
As
honestly.
always, we'll be right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah!
You had
Yeah,
more
to
for
talk
me.
with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with Noid. Good.
Skin shows through the holes in the Speed Freak's too large sweater. In front of him, an open toolbox of carpentry tools and parts.
It's good you talked to Andre first. Gave me time to get a reading on your sign. Can't really talk to people before you get a reading.
He runs his hand through his hair, which is combed back in mock seriousness, and continues to fiddle with some gears. Sign?
Yeah, gotta compare. See if we can align.
Interesting.
I suck at socialising, man. Even now, our sign synchronisation is way off. But I'll see what I can do.
He continues to rearrange his tools. Tell me about the machines you saw in the church.
Weird stuff. Specialised. There was a data processor and some sort of long-wave machinery. Wires going into water. Gives off a spy sign. Or some fucked up Samaran science sign. You know, The kind that goes head first into the supernatural.
The People's Republic of Samara is a product of Revachel's sister revolution on the Gran Isola. It's known as a severely degenerated rogue state.
The supernatural. So you think it's real, that it really exists?
Most of it doesn't exist, but there's also stuff that isn't allowed to exist, because the moralists think it's too dangerous for the plebs. Psionic powers, pale-related diseases, pretenders pretending to be human, folk rights, that kind of stuff.
Sounds like you're talking a load of bullshit to me. I'll go see this for myself, I think. We're pretty much done in here. Let's just hit the old tab key. Yeah, no special secrets. Let's be out. I'll go have a quick second chat with our good friend over here.
The shaggy-haired girl kneels on the sea ice. She looks up as you approach.
So you talked to my associates, right? Are you going to help us? With the church, I mean.
I can't say. I gotta ask questions first.
Shoot.
The others told me you went inside the church. What did you see in there?
Oh, that. You're not going to believe me. There's no point in me telling you.
She's less prone to blurt it out, Crab Man, than the others.
We'll see. Go ahead and tell me.
Okay. I went in and I saw a woman next to one of those machines there. Noid calls it a mainframe. She was dressed like someone who's been raised by their grandmother, you know, strange old clothes. Had this absent expression, didn't say anything, just stood still.
Go on.
And then, you know, right behind her, a man crawled down the wall. Upside down like a crab, down the church wall. I think the woman didn't even know he was there. He was completely silent. He stopped right before he got to the floor, then just hung there like that, looking at me. Right at me. I fucking turned around and walked out. End of story.
Like a crab, you say?
What did this crab man look like?
It was too dark. I couldn't tell exactly.
Come on, she obviously could. She already went into detail.
Come on, quit stalling on me. What did he look like?
He looked like a banger, okay? He was all muscular and stuff. Had a mesh tank top. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that only made it scarier in a way.
A crab and a banger?
The lieutenant raises an eyebrow.
Yes, a banger. As in a mess gang member. I know what it sounds like, but that's what I saw.
You were wrong. I do believe you.
Why?
Strange things happen.
Okay then. They certainly do around me.
Right, that's it for now. I think I've got all I need here. So a particularly physically impressive, possibly dangerous looking fellow comes climbing down a wall. It's too dark to see, but perhaps he was using some sort of climbing gear, suction cups or something. I don't know, something he was using in order to climb his way up and down the side of the wall in order to get onto the roof, where perhaps he was taking a certain shot with a sniper rifle aimed across a balcony over in town. I think we may have just found our sniper. I think we really might have done. I don't know exactly how he managed to go up and down the wall, but I don't see that why she'd be lying to me, you know? And this was exactly why we came over here. I don't know who the woman is. I don't know if she's...
Wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front
They're
of you.
talking at me.
The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
Yeah, I don't know if the woman's going to be just like some crazy person who lives here and either wasn't aware of or doesn't care about the presence of the sniper, or if she's someone who's in on the whole thing. I don't know. We'll find out though, won't we? Open the padlock with the key.
The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
The lieutenant nods at you. Pull on the
A
door!
great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though
Innards?
rushing to fill a great vacuum.
Some of the words are just pronounced a bit weird. There was another one that one of the lads said. in the conversations a minute ago that was just like, that's not how you say that word. And innards instead of innards is another one that's just... What?
In the heart of the city.
Sorry, I know it was meant to be a dramatic moment. Oh, this is cool. Check this shit out. Shit, man. And we're down here. A strange stillness fills you as you look around. You should walk here, not run. I walk everywhere, man. Double clicking's too much effort. This grotesque wooden figure looks half finished. What? Someone carving a figurine into this... Yeah, okay. Didn't clock that. Feels like it's trying to become one with the church. The figure was added later. It's not part of the original church. Yeah, there's another one here as well. Didn't see these. Seems like potentially bad on the support structures of the church, but whatever. More of the forked lightning pattern you saw outside. Bark beetles? No, it looks intentional. Some long forgotten style. I'm definitely going to die in this room. I'm definitely going to have to load my game. I should save. The blackboard is filled with complex equations. They look recent. Something to do with radio frequencies? Let's save. Oh, I press the old quick save button, why not? There we go. What do we have over here? The bowl is filled with water. A live wire runs directly into it. Could these wires work as contact microphones? Maybe. You think if these lads were as up on their audio equipment as they claim to be, they'd understand all this. Unless this is their stuff and they like lured me into a trap here or something. 2 decks of reel-to-reel tapes spinning on empty. A portable Harman Wowshy tape recorder. Someone's siphoning electrical current from outside into this antenna.
In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad, a dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel.
No.
Cold wind seeps in from the crack in the glass. Snowdrifts cover the floorboards at your feet. Above, you feel her multicolored eyes on you, inspecting you, as if under a microscope.
Look up.
The woman looks down at you, standing there. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There is a sad smile on her lips, and a glint in her green-blue eye. Of what? Compassion? Remorse? She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive.
It's remorse.
As that useless word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder.
Do the same.
Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times as you stand in the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles, her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
How did I come to know this is the mother of humanism?
Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. The innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived.
And she's been, like, deified as a result of bringing in socialism? I mean, cool, but wild.
No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men.
Wait, why exactly is she an innocence?
The highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world spirit.
A tyrant.
In a way, and innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the Real Belt is built from the ground up to accommodate inauthentic rule should it coincide with our time. And innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. And innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor and a glory to live when one is in office.
Is one in office now?
No, we are alone.
Okay, when did she rule?
300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi. She is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel and the connected world.
So she's like the Christopher Columbus of the Insulindian Isola. Is that fair to say? I don't know. What else do I know about her?
Many things. You know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene La Navigateur, Queen of Seren, modern-day Sir Laclay. Also that she was gorgeous beyond beauty. Draped in ancient sadness. Are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? Standing under a long, slender form like this, dwarfed?
Yes! Big bummer! Boring history! Gonna keep it light, man! Keep it moving! Get fucked up instead!
Where's this coming from?
The past. It's a silo of sadness, fermenting. You should keep away.
Fuck this pain, Bratan! It's unhealthy!
No, you must know.
Okay, what else? Was she smart?
Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A simple grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science was encouraged. She was, by all means, a kept woman. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming the era's preeminent philosopher of the state, a scalpel, a piercing gaze. She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before she was declared an innocence, her influence was tremendous.
How come?
It was on her advice that Irene La Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, often tragic endeavor, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world, the piece of reality you're standing on. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest era in history, the DeLorean era.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt.
Was there something terrifying about her?
Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what remains of it. But terrifying, it's a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her.
No, there was something bad about her. I want to know.
You already do. Although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores Day. Constantly surrounded by her terriers, She was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaigns she waged against the Mesk state. And then there were the resettlement programs.
What happened?
The Mesk state tried to detach itself from Innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic as well. Dissenters were suppressed by a military force she called the Army of Humanity, suggesting those who fight against it are not part of humanity. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen, with green eyes the color of the Pacific, mare interregnum. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying that people seldom mention, but feel when they think of her. This subtle terror is part of her iconography.
Officer, you've stood there for over 5 minutes.
The lieutenant's calm voice echoes in the cold air of the church.
What are you thinking of, if I may ask?
Why did we tolerate this bourgeois woman that long before we shot her?
She introduced us to the idea of public education, retirement, and modern diplomacy.
He takes his glasses off to clean them.
Either way, this church, we shouldn't linger here. This isn't a good place to get lost in.
See if we can reconstruct this cracked glass.
A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you, a ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and a text, a light motif below them both.
Who's the older woman?
The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator.
Makes
She is
sense.
depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden rights apfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen her innocence day advised. Above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, 30 years, stand in a row guarding her. It must have taken years to produce this work in all its dizzying detail.
The motto, what does it say?
Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau.
Sounds French.
And then, along the left side, Après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau. After life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This is the great leitmotif of humanism, a summary of the effect of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, on human thinking. A tremendous sea change akin to finding life after death.
Lieutenant, this used to say afterlife, death. After...
Death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more, however.
Why?
It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also seen as too feminine. It was a macho thing.
So what's the RCM motto now?
Justice, union, prudence, and force.
You can't just... Well, I guess you can. I guess you can. You know, it's crazy. Just a bit of a sidetrack here, but as a kid who grew up in the early 2000s, you know, with fucking Eminem and, you know, South Park and everything, that word was just so commonplace. It was just everywhere. It was just on everyone's tongue all the time, you know? And it's just crazy how it's such like a shock word now. Like in less than 20 years, it's just completely flipped. Absolutely insane. I mean, you know, it's not a good word, but it's still just crazy how language can evolve the way it does. Anyway, I like the other one better.
So do I.
So what shattered this mosaic?
Unknown.
Oh, thanks, visual calculus. That's helpful.
A motor carriage? A gunshot? Someone falling into it? Or maybe just hooligans looking for something to break?
Step on back.
The mother of humanism towers above you. A wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her expression.
So I'll turn away. What is this thing?
A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
Fun noises.
A radio computer. And it's turned on.
He seems cautious around the machine.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm systems and the like. Let's be careful.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case.
Yes, but what is this strange thing?
A radio computer. We have one down at the station. No, I don't know how to operate it or what it's used for. Let's go.
This is the Ream Prefect radio computer, a model number RC7024, equipped with a Feld mainframe and a Ream-compatible interim printer. The Ream Prefect is the governmental version of the commonly used Ream Civic model. Although mostly based on the same technology, the Ream Prefect is equipped with better noise attenuation circuits.
You're right, let's get out of here. We're not actually getting out of here, I just don't want to fuck with this machine yet. I feel like there's more to explore in here, and that's probably going to cause issues for us if we lean too hard into it. What was that?
The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent.
Wait, I think I still hear something.
And then it's gone. Almost all of it, but for the faintest of hums. You can hardly hear your own breathing.
Stamp your feet and clap your hands.
You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total, somehow.
Rah.
Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers.
What's happening?
The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything?
Not really, but it's extraordinary. I've never experienced anything like this.
I wonder why the church was built with such strange acoustics.
Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing on its premises.
Whatever it is, it's definitely real. Something odd is happening around us.
The lieutenant doesn't reply, but you can sense him tense up next to you.
Have a quick look up at that bell tower, shall
The
we?
orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead.
Try and see what's up there. Not quite. Not quite. Close but no cigar, as they say. There's something up there, though. Should I say
Just
someone up there?
darkness without end. It makes your head spin.
What's the darkness like?
Filled with vague shapes of woodwork, the sense of a great height.
I'll blink.
You
Hello.
see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Hello there, friend. Are you going to kill me?
Is that a man? Looks more like part of the carpentry of the building came alive and is now studying you intently. The Crab Man.
Hey, who's there?
The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
That was not what I was expecting.
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesk and a district in general. There's a sizable contingent of Villalobos-speaking Mesks in Revachol.
The right place for what?
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
I'm a policeman. I need to talk to you about police things. I don't know anything about alcohol use.
Oh yeah, sure. You don't know anything about alcohol use. You got it all under control, Way. I could smell the control all the way over here.
Okay, fine, I'm struggling. But you don't need to lecture me. I know what I need to do.
Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc Albino is wrecking on your mind and your spirit. Necesita parar, homie.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Well, that's all well and good, but we need to talk about the unlicensed occupation of ecclesiastic property.
The only thing we need to talk about is how the mother can really help you, Holmes.
His voice echoes in the cold air of the church.
This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
He sways gently on the beams, waiting for you to take it all in.
You have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Is he just trying to throw you off your game?
He does seem to keep changing the subject a lot.
Whatever it is, he's quite confident about it. Just look how gracefully he sways.
Some ravers want to turn this place into a nightclub.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Think they scared of me.
So what do you think? About the nightclub, that is.
Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go. Might even be nice to have some company.
So do you know where the other spooker is?
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes.
Viejita is grandma?
Wait, so there is another person living in this church, and it's a viejita?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear.
And you don't know where she is?
That's what I said, Holmes.
How can you not know when you both live here?
Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests.
So you got nothing else to tell me? How she looks, what she does, who is she?
I'm afraid not, Ese. You just have to wait until she comes back, or...
He shrugs.
Or search through her radio computer.
Okay, well, thanks. Don't think this is our guy. I don't think this is our sniper man. That's a shame. I really thought we were onto something then. Cracked pane of glass. Colourful. It came from the stained glass window. Still has some letters on it too. Frost has drawn flowers on the glass, obscuring the view. A figure drawn on the frost in the window, depicting a deer. Ooh. A +1 pain threshold silk scarf. Very nice. Very nice. I finally replaced my my bad boy necktie with it. Oh, look at that fashion. I need a new hat as well, don't I? We've got the slightly racist one. I probably won't rock with that, especially since it reduces my suggestion. Is that the only other hat we've got? Kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Never mind them. How about these boots? +1 perception boots. Yeah, we'll swap to those. This outfit is coming together, I must say. I might swap to the half-light gloves. Yes. Looking like a proper hipster now. Loving it. Absolutely loving this style. Yeah, so I guess we're meant to just search through this woman's shit now then, I suppose. I don't know why though, like she doesn't feel like she's anyone relevant. A spider has spun its web around this wood-carved pillar. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's anything that's gonna particularly help me with any of the things I'm working on right now. This guy's not interested in stopping them from moving into the church, so we can just go tell them that. Solve the whole nightclub fiasco. Empathy shoes. And money. All my favourite things. I love empathy shoes and money. What's this?
Hey, her Innocence Dolores Day liked little figurines, right? Liked holding little men between her fingers, remember?
What?
You have the Headless Falcon Rider figurine. You should give it to her. Win her back.
What? Win who back? I can't win her back. She's a long dead historical figure.
Don't be so pessimistic. Love doesn't die that easily. This isn't funny. You have a bad feeling about this one.
I should then, yes. This is a task of mine for now.
So very, very, very nifty. Nifty and mysterious. This is surely what the figurines are for.
What do we do with it then? Where do we put the figurine? I don't know. I guess we'll look into that next time, as well as digging through this random woman's computer files, because why the fuck not? We're here in a church. Why not? Why not? I don't even know with this game anymore, man. I'm assuming everything will come connecting together in an incredibly intricate weave of threads, which is going to absolutely make my mind explode in a couple hours of gameplay time, but for right now I'm just a bit fucking lost, and will remain so until next time. I'll see you.